Hey folks, Farrell here. Now, a few of you have asked just how Wasted and I got our debug screens to come up in Space Engineers in last week's video and stream. Now, it turns out that Keen never actually removed the debug screen from the mod SDK version of the game. Good news is that the mod SDK is freely available, and that even after making this change, you'll still be able to use the normal Space Engineers game along with the debug version. But the long and short of it is, all they really did was remove the key combo. It's there. So to get this set up, you're going to need a copy of Steam and Space Engineers already installed on your computer. And I also recommend that you have Steam up and running in the background when you do this. Step 1. In the browser of your choice, search for Space Engineers Mod SDK and open the result that is hosted on steamdb.info. This is the Steam database website that basically gives you all the behind-the-scenes information on the various Steam packages that are out there. Step 2. At the top right of the screen, click the green button. This is the Steam link that will actually start the install process in your Steam window. So when you click this, it should probably take you to Steam, and it'll give you the option to pick where you want to install it if you have multiple locations, and begin the download process. Now the download might look like it's going to be on the hefty side, but you might find that it goes a lot faster than you expect. And again, because the mod SDK is free, you don't have to worry about actually buying this. You are going to be downloading free software here. Step 3. Once everything has downloaded and installed, go ahead and hit play. You'll see a DOS prompt window briefly pop up, and then a Windows Explorer window will open up to the mod SDK folder. You want to go ahead and keep that open for now off to the side. Step 4. In Steam, right-click on Space Engineers, select Properties, select Local Files, and then click on Browse Local Files. What this will do is open up in a Windows Explorer window to your normal Space Engineer folder. You want to keep that window open too. So now here's the point in this process where you have a choice on how to continue. I'm going to show you how to finish this up without needing administrator rights on your computer, but you're going to have to perform these steps again anytime Space Engineers updates. Step 5. Copy the bin64_profile folder from the mod SDK folder to your normal Space Engineers folder. Step 6. Right-click and drag the Space Engineers executable file to your desktop and select that option to create a shortcut. Step 7. Rename the resulting shortcut something that you'll recognize as your debug-capable copy of Space Engineers. It's that simple, folks. Now, as I mentioned earlier, anytime Space Engineers updates, you might need to copy that bin64 profile over again to ensure that changes to the mod SDK make it into your vanilla Space Engineers folder. Otherwise, you might have problems with Space Engineers where if you run vanilla Space Engineers on a newer version, and you try to go back and load worlds into your debug-capable version, you're going to run into potential version mismatch and compatibility issues, so just do try to keep them up to date, would be my recommendation. Now, if this is sounding a little bit of a pain to you, you can do something a little different that means you won't have to worry about keeping that folder up to date. Instead of copying the folder, you can have Windows create a hard link to the bin64 profile folder, meaning that it will act like that folder exists in your normal Space Engineers folder, as well as the mod SDK folder. Now this does take a little bit of extra effort to set up, but you only have to do it once. And you are going to have administrator access to your computer to make this change though. So if you don't have access or you don't really know what you're doing, you're better off going with the older method of copying the folders. So if you're following that, we're going to pick back up on step 5. We're going to copy the full path in the address bar to your vanilla Space Engineers installation out of the Windows Explorer window. Step 6, we need to start a command prompt running as administrator. Now in Windows 7, you could open up your start menu, look under accessories, and right-click on command prompt and select run as administrator. In Windows 10, you could just open up your start menu, begin typing the word command. You'll see command prompt pop up. You can right-click on that and say run as administrator. Once you've got that window open, you want to go ahead and start typing in the following command: mklink, a space, a slash, and a J. Another space, and a double quote. This is kind of the start of the command itself. Step 8. You want to right-click in the command prompt window and select paste. Once you've done that, then you'll also need to add in the word bin, B-I-N, 64, the number 64 that is, underscore profile. This is going to be the name of the link itself that you're creating. Step 9, put in a closing double quote at the end of the path, a space, and then another double quote. Step 10. Now go to your Windows Explorer window that is pointing at your mod SDK folder and open up the bin64 profile folder there. Once you're there, copy the full path that's in the address bar. Step 11. Back in your command prompt window, use the same process as before to paste that path that you have in your clipboard. Step 12. Put in a closing quote and then press enter. You'll see that Windows is going to create the hard directory link for you. Step 13. Go back to your vanilla Space Engineers folder and open the bin64_profile folder that now appears there. Step 14. Right-click and drag the Space Engineers executable file to your desktop and select the option to create a shortcut. Step 15. Rename the resulting shortcut something that you'll recognize as your debug-capable copy of Space Engineers. And that's it. You now have a working copy of the special version of Space Engineers that has a working debug screen. When you want to have access to it, make sure Steam is running and that you use your desktop shortcut to start it. If you want to use the non-debug capable version of Space Engineers, just run it directly from Steam. There's no need to undo any of the work you've done to use it. If you're curious, there are two ways that you can tell that you're using the mod SDK version of Steam when you're running it. First off, when you're at the main menu screen on the debug capable version, you'll notice at the bottom right of the screen next to the version number, it will say Profiling Non-Official. On normal Space Engineers, this simply reads as default. The second way to tell is by the presence of the Debug Worlds checkbox in the Load Game screen, which does not appear in normal Space Engineers. So there you go, that's how you can get your very own authentic, genuine, Keen-supplied debug screen back, until Keen decides to take it out of the mod SDK. Now I'm sure I don't have to say this, because Keen certainly said it enough when they took this away from us at the time. You can do some damage to your world if you don't understand what these settings do. And even though we have this screen back, don't back down on putting pressure on Keen to either bring this back into the main release branch or to develop its replacement. Hope this has helped you guys get your debug screens back, and I hope you enjoy having access to it back, because I know I certainly do. I'll catch you guys in the next video.